I have a question. Do any of you remember when I made these high fashion wardrobe staples? I know it's been a minute because I forgot too. You know what I also forgot? That I had every intention of turning this Pokemon bingo thing I was doing into a series. And for whatever reason, it was one of those intrusive thoughts that came to me at like 4 a.m. the other night. I was just laying in bed with my insomnia and I was like, oh yeah, I did a Pokemon bingo series, didn't I? Maybe I should finish that. So that's what we're going to do today. Well, we're not going to finish it, but we are going to start on finishing it. And to do that, I'm going to return to my spinning wheel that I made a long time ago at this point. So long ago, in fact, that I did forget it existed. But I have remembered now, so we can spin. All right, who is going to be the next Pokemon in this series? Okay, Growlithe. We have a Growlithe. Now, having had my memory jogged, I do think I said in the original Pokemon Bingo video that I wanted to try and avoid making just out and out amigurumi as much as I possibly could. Not that I don't want to make amigurumi of like some of the Pokemon that are on this list, but I'd prefer to like turn them into other projects if I can. So for Growlithe, actually, as soon as the wheel landed on it, I had an idea. Some of you might recall my sort of disaster of a corner-to-corner blanket project that I did a little while ago. I can link that down in the description if you're interested in watching it. But originally, I set out to make a pillow project using corner-to-corner crochet. And one of my earlier ideas was to actually use a square from my Pokemon blanket cal. And as soon as the spinny wheel landed on Growlithe, I thought, well, why not just make that original project that I intended to make? Because having like sized the pillow that I was going to use against my, disaster blanket, the Pokemon blanket cal squares would have worked out a pretty much perfect size. So yeah, Growlithe corner to corner pillow project, anyone? And maybe I can redeem myself from the corner to corner blanket catastrophe. That's a bit dramatic, isn't it? It wasn't a catastrophe. It was just me being a bit of an idiot. What else is new? But yeah, I'm going to head over to because I do have all my Pokemon blanket cal pattern stuff here. For those of you who actually invested in the Pokemon blanket cal, I can't imagine there's too many people left at this point. But I am still working on it. What I've decided to do, because it just got interrupted so much. Unfortunately, I don't have all that much time to work on crochet stuff as it is, particularly in the last year or so. And the Pokemon blanket cal has always been the first thing I've sort of discarded when I've run out of time. And because that's the case, I just haven't been able to put out a video about it it's got to be months at this point, months and months. But what I have been doing in the background when I have a chance is working on the written patterns. So my kind of vague plan with the Pokemon blanket cal at the moment is to get as many written patterns as possible done. I'm aiming to get up to about half or even 3/4 finished. And once I have all of those, I can then begin converting them into videos. So hopefully, even though there may be a huge gap in between my last Pokemon blanket cal video and the one that comes out next, hopefully when that one does come out, I'll be able to follow it up with consecutive Pokemon blanket cal videos, because I don't have to take that time to work on the written patterns in between. We'll get there. I want to do this blanket. I've been saying it for so long now. I want to do this blanket. It will get finished. It's just time is the thing I wish I had more of. Okay, but enough talking about the Pokemon blanket cal, even though I'm literally using it now. But I need to, you know what? I'm going to screen record this so all of you can see what I'm doing. here I have all my basic Pokemon squares. Where is, right there. So there is my Growlithe one. So now I want to turn this into a corner to corner blanket. So if I look, let's get out, let's do a new layer. So to begin, because I'm going to start in the, make that a bit bigger, the bottom right hand corner over here where I just put the red dot. That's where I'm going to start, and working at diagonals, I then need to go up to 27. So using that square, I've worked out that the first 27 rows are just going to be straight up background color. Hello, little girl. I'm here. So yeah, using that square, I've worked out that the first 27 rows are just going to be straight up background color. So that's easy enough. I'll get that done, and then I think we'll come back in and we can figure out what colors specifically we're going to use for the Growlithe itself. Because while I could use the colors I've set aside for the Pokemon blanket cowl, I would prefer to keep those colors for that project. So it just might be a case of making a few little tweaks. But that's not something that I'm too concerned about right now. I do want to get this background done first. And thankfully, I actually still have some blue yarn that is left over from my original corner to corner blanket. So I'm probably just going to use that. So this is some of the blue yarn that I have left over from my original corner to corner blanket project. Hopefully I have enough of it, because I don't want to go through that nightmare again where I had to purchase yarn. It was like 4 additional times because I kept running out of it. I don't think that's going to happen in this situation, because this is a significantly smaller project. I think it's literally a quarter of the size. So we should be good. But like after last time, I just don't trust myself. But as we worked out, the first, how have I forgotten already? 27, it was 27. The first 27 rows are going to be in just this dark blue, which I am using for my background color. I was worried for a second that I didn't remember how to start this off, but I think I'm doing okay. And then I chain 6 at the start. 1, 2, 3, 6. Yeah, I think I still got it. Well, after all that bloody time working on my first project, the muscle memory should be ingrained real good. You can't get up there. That's not for ferrets. That's not for ferrets. Oh, he's so sleepy. He's so sleepy. He's so sleepy. Hey, when did you get back to sleep? When did you get back to sleep? Oh, big yawn. Big yawn. There you go. There you go. Luckily I only had 2 squares to go. You didn't interrupt too much, teddy bear. Correction, 3. 2, and there is my final one, and that is going to bring me to row 27, which is my last like solid background color row. From this point on, I am going to need to start changing color, but I'm thinking to make this a little bit easier, I might just like go ahead and write out the pattern first, or at the very least just do the colored grid, like get all that set up properly. So I might, like, it'll take a little bit of time now, but I think it'll be like more efficient in the long term. So if I grab you, you might have to go on the floor for this bit, teddy bear, or do I have to work one-handed? I'm gonna have to work one-handed, aren't I? Okay. that's that. So honestly, I figured while I was at it, I may as well just go ahead and do the written pattern for the Pokemon blanket square, which this is anyway. Sort of killing two birds with one stone. I really hate that saying. It's way too violent. Why do you want to be violent against birds for? But now I have like my square that I am then going to convert into a corner to corner crochet pattern. So I've done the first 27 rows, as I said, in this. So for row 28, I need to bring in the black yarn first, but before I do that, I actually need to grab out the black yarn and probably all the colors of yarn that I'm going to be using in this project too. I think I've got them all. What do we got? Cream, light brown, dark gray, and 2 oranges. I didn't get white. Bugger. Though I think I've got white somewhere in this room. It might actually be easier just to go and grab it from my shelf in the other room because it's still a little bit of a mess in here. We're making progress. And the thing is, because of the ferrets, like all the mess is elevated. It's all on like tabletops and chairs and stuff. We're slowly making our way through it and cleaning it up, but you know, that sort of thing takes time. So row 28 is what I'm starting on now. I need to begin with 14 in the background color, followed by 3 in the black, 1 more in background color, 1 more in black, and then I'm going to finish off with 9 more in the background. I was kind of thinking this time around, because something I probably should have done, you know, in hindsight with my original corner to corner project was use like bobbins for it. I didn't do that. I sort of pulled my yarn across most of the time. I did use a couple of bobbins like on either end, but yeah, for the most part I just like dragged the yarn across, and that obviously does leave like lines of exposed yarn. In a blanket, that's not so great, but considering this is a pillow and that I am going to put a backing on it and then a pillow inserted into it, I don't think it matters all that much, so I'm probably not going to bother with the bobbins this time around, with the exception of like the background color, because the image of Growlithe is centralized, it's in the middle. I'm going to have 1 background bobbin for one side, so this will be like this end here, and then I'm going to have a second one for the top here. Okay, so let's set you guys aside for now. I'll have to make sure to bring in the white when I get up again, but now we can start on row 28. To think that we are already almost at the halfway point being 40 rows, and like I'm on row 28, when the last one like took, I don't know, several weeks to get to that point, is honestly kind of a relief. So yes, hopefully that means this corner to corner project won't end up taking me a couple of months to finish. Well, after what feels like no time at all has passed, I have officially reached the halfway point of my project. It's kind of amazing how efficient you can be when you make a project that is, you know, actually the correct size and 4 times smaller than the original one that you did. And I know I said this in my original corner to corner blanket video, but I'm going to reiterate here. I just really love the texture of the corner to corner crochet. Like the color changes themselves are so neat. I was gonna say pattern, and that's not the right word. The texture itself is just so nice. I'm genuinely looking forward to using corner to corner crochet in more and more projects. Ferret noises, more and more projects going forward. But first, I need to finish this one. So I don't actually have the patterns written, or the patterns for each row written up for the remainder of the square. I did write them up to row 40. But then I was like, no, I've had enough of this. I want to start crocheting. So I stopped halfway through. I thought that was a good, stopping point. So I'm probably going to get that out of the way first. And then I will proceed with the crochet again. So I'll pop you aside for now. I'm going to bring you in. Oops. And that, no wait, this way? Yeah, this way. That was my last color change. So now I just need to finish this thing off. I should have rolled this up before I started rolling the camera. But anyway, I finished my second corner to corner project yesterday. And it's so funny. It's so funny. I have been amazed throughout the entire process. I've been like, wow, this is working up so quickly. Yes, Lee, that is what happens when you don't accidentally make your project 4 times the size it was originally intended to be. But anyway, are you ready for the big reveal? Well, in this case, it's a smaller reveal. Ready? 3, 2, 1. It's Growlithe. I know I risk repeating myself for probably like the 100th time at this point, but I've genuinely fallen in love with corner to corner crochet. I think it looks fantastic. I mean, I can't take credit for the design, obviously. That is not mine, but I just meant the texture, the way the color changes work, just everything about corner to corner crochet. I'm loving at the moment. So much so, in fact, that I think I'm going to make myself an Arcanine version as well, because I have 2 big, we call them European pillows here. They're just big square pillows. I don't know, are they just called pillows in Europe? I don't know, but yes, we call them European pillows. But I have 2 of those on my bed. I use them at night to help prop up my back and my hips and all the other things that get really sore. But yeah, I have 2 of those, and I figured, well, I've got a Growlithe. Why not make an Arcanine as well? So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that at some point. But now that I've done the crochet part, I do want to actually turn this into a pillow, and I considered making a crochet backing, but I think I'm just going to do that in fabric. Now, I did raid my fabric stash that I have over there in the cube shelf, but I don't really have any fabric that's working for me. The colors just aren't quite right. I would like a blue that matches this as close as I can get it, and I don't have that currently. And even in the fabric that was the closest match, it was more of a fleece fabric, and I prefer a cotton or a cotton blend, something like that. So I'm going to keep my eye out at the op shops the next couple of times we go, and if I don't have any luck there, I think I might just buy some fabric from Spotlight to complete the backing on my project. And I'm going to need a bit of it too, especially if I'm going to make a matching Arcanine pillow. So yeah, while that does mean I'm not going to finish this project in its entirety in this video, I did finish the crochet portion. And on this channel, I think that's what counts. Let me know your thoughts. I kind of think one thing with making, I suppose you would call this pixel art, wouldn't you? One thing about it is when I'm looking at the designs up close, it really just looks like a jumbled mess of color. And as I was crocheting it, there was a part of my brain that was sort of going, what the hell is this? But you look at it from a distance and yeah, I think that looks like Growlithe. You can tell from a distance that's Growlithe, right? Right? Or am I just being optimistic? Nah, you can tell it's Growlithe. So yeah, I'm really happy with my project. I'm gonna make an Arcanine, as I said, but I'm also probably gonna make a few other things. I don't know what form that's going to take yet, because I would like to, you know, take corner to corner crochet and try and do something else with it. I don't know what that looks like at this stage, but whether that is in incorporating it into clothing somehow, you know, mixing it and like making a hybridization of corner to corner crochet and some other crochet technique. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but yeah, I want to do more and more things with it. But at least I can get my corner to corner crochet fix by, yes, working on that second Arcanine project, and we'll see what comes after that. We'll see what comes after that. What comes after this though is, and today's featured creator on the hookup is Sarah, or the Worriless Wildflower, and she says, I am a 19-year-old artist, crocheter, and cosmetologist. I've been crocheting since I was 5 and have been doing art for around 6 years. I am also a special effects artist. I have recently started my own business. I crochet a little of everything and I love making my own patterns. I have been making shorts, but I hope to start making my own full videos and grow my brand. Same thing with me. I think if you're anyone who's watched this channel for a little while can figure that out. I love making my own patterns. I think it's just a nice creative challenge you can set for yourself, and I just really enjoy the process. And it does not surprise me that other people fall into that category too. So if you would like to check out all of the Worriless Wildflowers links, they will be down in the description, and so will a link to the hookup form if you would like to apply for yourself. I don't know why I'm consulting the laptop again. I just did the hookup section, but that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts on the Growlithe, and if you'd be interested at all in an Arcanine update once I finish that. Hopefully, now that I, you know, actually have remembered that this challenge exists, there won't be such a large gap between this video and the next Pokemon or Gen 1 Pokemon Bingo challenge. I've just got to make a mental note. In fact, that's not always a good idea when it comes to me. I might have to make a physical note that, yes, this challenge is a thing, and I'll get started on the next one, hopefully soonish. So yeah, we got that to complete, but I also kind of forgot that I actually made myself other bingo cards for like different genres, which I plan to use, but I forgot about those two. I have no excuses other than the brain fog, but it is what it is. But maybe we can get around to those too, because I do like myself a bit of crochet bingo, especially when it's like spread out a bit like this. Well, it might have been spread out a little bit too much this time. We might bring that in just a little bit, but when it's spread out a little bit, yeah, it means I can sort of take a bit more time with all the challenges, which is beneficial usually. So yeah, I've got plenty of stuff to keep me occupied going forward, and I hope to see you all along for the journey. So thank you for watching this one. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it, share it if you think it's worth sharing, and I will see you in the next one.